Hello and welcome to today's video, and today we are at Millstone Edge, which is just opposite Padley Gorge. Now Padley Gorge is just behind me, running down in the valley down here, but I decided, as you can see, there's lots of snow around. I thought about trying to get some images up on the highland and make use of the snow and cold temperatures and things like that, because it's blooming cold. But yeah, seemed like a good idea at the time, so hopefully we'll get some images like this. Well, after a couple of weeks away, it's been a bit traumatic over the past couple of weeks. This is the first outing, so I'll elaborate a little bit more on that shortly. But for the first photograph of today, yes, I brought myself up to the side of this fence that I saw. I quite liked the way it just disappeared off into the distance, but it's only a wire fence and there's nothing really fantastic about it. But what I've done is I've made the post like the subject, this is the near post, the subject of the photograph. But the way the snow is just clinging to all the wires, I don't know, just looked all right. Like I say, I don't think it's going to win any prizes, but yeah, I just like the way it just diminished and into the distance. Now it's a bit blimmin' dodgy up here, so it's not for the faint-hearted. So you've got to watch your steps, especially with the blimmin' ice and snow and whatever. So I'm going to carry on a journey around this area. I've never been on this side. I've always been over Padley Gorge side. So there's some rock clusters and stuff over there. But what I did see is on the way to here, I saw a lot of trees with hoarfrost and stuff on them just by the side of the road, so I'll probably spend another hour in this area just to see what we can find, just to get the juices warmed up, as it were, and then I'll probably head back to the car and head back to those little trees that I saw just sticking out of fields and stuff, and the way the snow is just playing with everything at the moment is absolutely wonderful. So yes, I shall stop rabbiting and I'll crack on with another image. Okay, so while I just set myself up for this next shot, I just wanted to say, you know, what's been happening in my little world actually over the past 3 weeks since I last put a video up for anybody to watch. Basically, the weather was against us, I think, for the first week, and so not a lot could happen then. But I had a week's worth of filming planned, sort of locations and what have you planned for the following week, as I didn't have a huge amount of work on. So I thought that'd be an ideal time. And with that, the car decided to pack up, and I was without a car. I was able to borrow a car, which I was glad about, but there was no way in the conditions with the snow, the rain and all the rest of it, I wanted to take somebody else's car out on a potentially icy excursion. The way my luck was going, there's no way that was going to happen, and I'll end up, you know, busting that one. But anyway, the garage took hold of the car for a week or so. I've got it back, but I'm still not convinced it's completely fixed, but we shall see. So this is the first day I've been able to get out. Unfortunately, we've got, although we've had some really amazing foggy conditions, which I've kind of dipped out on, we've still got a bit of remnants of the snow that we've had over the past couple of days, so I'm going to make the most of that now. So I'm going to set myself up. I've just done a composition which I think might work, and I shall set that up for you and take that for you now. I was using the camera down quite low because I wanted to make something of the rocks and the footpath and what have you, which might obviously with the footpath lead you into the scene, but that's not. It just wasn't happening. So I've put the camera at mid height now, so it's not eye level obviously, but I still want to show something of the foreground. I've leaned it over into portrait. Now obviously the ball head allows me to do that, but sometimes it's nice to have that little L bracket on the side of the camera, but I don't have that on this for some reason. But anyway, I digress. So I've gone midways now because we've got some clumps of heather and stuff in the foreground just down here, and the tree is still looking nice. It's looking sidelit, and we're coming into golden hour as well now, so the sun is, although it was giving off like quite a cool light earlier, it is starting to warm up slightly, and the side lighting of the tree is pretty well. I like it. It's quite nice. So what I've done, again, I'm still going to go down the focus stacking route for one section of it, but I'll also try like a one-off shot as well, so that we don't have any stacking to do in post. So what I've basically done is, well, I've basically turned it all around. I've got f.9 now, ISO 200, and it's 1/400th of a second. So obviously there's no breeze as such. I'm not really worried about the branches moving or anything like that. So that should be cool. Again, what I'm going to do is, just so that I know where I am in post, when I look at it face, I'll just basically take a picture with my hand in front of it, and then when I see that come up in the catalogue of the computer, I know that either before that hand picture or the following 3 or 4 images after that belong together. So I've done that, and now what I'm basically doing now is I'm just going to focus on the heather at the foreground, and we'll take 2-second timer. We'll take that image. There we go. But just basically going to focus halfway between there and the tree. I shouldn't need it, but I'm just going to do it just for safety's sake. And then I'm going to go in on the tree itself, hopefully, just there. Again, I'm keeping the histogram at the moment because we've got such dynamic light going on, because we've got lots of reflections from the snow coming up. We've got the blue sky, we've got the harsh light. Basically, if I wanted to darken it out, this is where I would then make basically the histogram. I'll make sure that it's right slap bang in the middle, so it's nice and even, a nice even hump in the middle between the two sides of the histogram. Then if I want to, I can then darken the shadows down. If I want to make it a moodier picture, if I want to make it a clean sort of bright picture, then we can go. We've got all the detail right the way across the image. We've got all the detail in shadows and in the highlights, so I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, I'll just play with that again for 2 seconds, and then we'll go on to the next one. Well, if there's ever a lesson to be learned, that when you see a shot, take it, then do that, because I just went back to, earlier in the video I said that I wanted to go back to see where the hoarfrost had gone on the tree. Well, I got there and it totally evaporated, so that was a waste opportunity, but it just looked absolutely beautiful because all the limbs and the branches and stuff were all covered in hoarfrost, and it was absolutely beautiful. But that being said, I've journeyed across the road about 300 or 400 yards and found a little parking space. I'm right next to the road here now. So, but I found this little scene here where we've got a little wall next to a little tree. But the little wall and the little tree look okay on their own. But the trouble is I can't crop out the dark tree which is next to it, which is fallen into shadow by a further third tree, which is actually situated behind you. So what I thought I'd do is I'll bring the camera a little bit further back. So rather than trying just to pick out that tree on its own, which I still might do, I've come back sort of 2 or 3 meters, and basically that little tree, the little dark tree, is there. Why not use it to contrast between the two? Hopefully it will work. It will give a bit of balance, because I've got a wall right behind me. The sun's going down behind a road sign just behind me here. So yeah, everything in the foreground at the moment is all in the shadow because of the wall and the road sign. So hopefully you can hear me with the traffic going by. Now I want to spend sort of 5-10 minutes. So we haven't got long before the sun has actually gone down behind the hill, but there's some hoarfrost again on the trees on the opposite side of the road to me there. So I'm hoping I can just whip myself over there and make the most of that in a second. So I'm going to take this image now. What we've done is we've gone for a 1/200th of a second f.9, and the ISO is 80. And again, I just wanted to make sure that I've got the contrast between the shadows of the foreground and that tree kind of envelop the brightness of the tree on its own. That's what I'm thinking, and this is all it looks like. I'm not sure if we're going to get over there at the moment. The sun seems to be going down quite rapidly. So anyway, the image that we took just now is just there, and I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll put the 100-400 on and try and pick out some of the trees on the distance, because they've got a nice bit of side light going on at the minute, and it's looking a little bit, it's got a bit of an orangey glow to it. So what I've done is out of the 3 trees, I've singled out the one at the moment to the right hand side of it, and I've put that in portrait. Now what I like is I've got a few layers going on. We've got some layers of the reeds and stuff that are sticking up through. There's a very frozen pond just in front of me there, and we've got some layers going on with all the layers of the mounds of the earth and stuff going out towards the tree. So hopefully that will give us a bit of depth in the image. But what I'm going to do now is just swing to the side and see if I can make something of the two trees that are next to it, if you can see me. So I shall do that now. So as you can see, just scooting myself to the left a little bit, you've got those three trees on the distance there. I've focused on the first one to the right of the picture, but now I've just focused in on those two that are together. Now again, I've gone in quite tight because I expect you can just about see it just to the left of the two trees. There's a little fella just sticking up above the horizon, and that's a little bit distracting, so I've kind of zoomed in a little bit, but I've kept the tree on the top third of the frame, and I'm hoping where the sun is just glinting across the top of this wall, it's just hitting some of the ice-capped reeds. So I'm hoping it'll come out. You can't really sort of tell on the back of there. I've got it set at F14, sorry, ISO 100 for 1/80th of a second. So I don't know, 80th of a second might be a little bit too slow, and we might get a bit of softness in the reeds blowing. So what I might do is just play with this a little bit because I'm running out of time. I want to get over there if I can. And so yeah, I'm just going to do that, and then I'll shoot over there. Okay, well this has been a real mad dash. I'm just coming across over there, the sun's going down. I've managed to rattle off a couple of shots here. Actually, I'm going to keep shooting on this for a minute because with the shadow going down, with the sun going down over there, it's making the shadows go up, and I'm not sure if you can see it on there, but as I was putting my gear up, I could see the shadow going across here and then starting to go up the trees, and that's kind of not what I wanted. So it was a case of just dropping everything and seeing what we can do, and then I'll just fire away. Composition wise, hardly any. So although with the shadow, where's that going? With the shadow going off, it looks quite good. So what I'm going to do on this, that looks quite nice there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the shadow line on the bottom third of the image, and I'm going to focus in just mid-range. I've got F9, 1/25th of a second at ISO 125. Again, I wanted to get a clean image. I know you get noise introduction and stuff like that, but I don't know, I like to try and keep it around sort of 100 to 200. I'm quite comfortable with that. I know these cameras can handle a lot more, but I don't know, it's just one of those things. I don't know, old school. That's the old film side of things coming out of me. That was way back in the, well, a long time ago. So yeah, 2-second timer, and I'm just going to sit here and see what happens. Really, I might step back a little bit, maybe I'll go forward. I don't know, I'll just see what happens with the shadow going up the side of the trees. I don't know, it might be quite nice, might be fun just to have some nice orange tips to the end of the trees possibly. But I'm looking around behind you. You've always got to look behind you to see what's going on over there, but not a huge amount going over there. Everything's gone into shadow now. So yeah, and I'm up to my knees here. I haven't really got my walking trousers on today, so I'm starting to get a bit wet. But yeah, it's such a beautiful scene. I wish I'd come over sort of half an hour before instead of messing around on the other side of the road, just so I could kind of set up composition a little bit more so. But never mind. That's what we've got. It's been fun today. So I'll pop that image up for you now. Okay, with that, one last photograph. I shall say cheerio. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's probably a bit of a short one today, but it's been lovely to be out and about after having such a really, really rubbish 3 weeks. So hopefully onward and upwards. Christmas is around the corner, so hopefully everything's going to be plain sailing from now on. Thank you so much for the subscribers, over 500 now, more than I'd ever thought that I'd ever get on something like this. And it's not until you start a YouTube channel you realise how important pressing that subscribe button is for getting the videos and stuff out and shown in front of other people that might enjoy this sort of content. Thank you also for the comments and stuff that you leave on the end of the videos. They are encouraging, fortunately, and I do try to answer as many as I can. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time out to do that. With that being said, I shall see you on the next one. Bye for now.